Okay. All right, so welcome to Act 4. You remember last time in Act 3, the climax of the play, Banquo has been killed by his friend Macbeth, even though Banquo's son, Fleance, has gotten away. Macbeth is very upset by this. Two reasons. Number one, killing Fleance is really the whole purpose of the plan. Now that Fleance is alive, it still means that Banquo's children can take over. And number two, Macbeth has been seeing visions of Banquo. So what Macbeth decided to do in Act 3 is go see the witches a second time. We also learned that the others, Malcolm and Donalbain, were out at other countries, and Macduff as well, trying to get support in order to take down Macbeth. So a lot of pieces are in motion. So in this act, what you're going to see is Macbeth's meeting with the witches, and you're also going to see some conversations about what the other people are doing in order to overthrow the ruler. All right, so with that, let's get started with Act 4. You may recognize some of these lines. They've been used in movies like Harry Potter and Halloween decorations, so this shouldn't be that unfamiliar to you. Here we go.
Thrice the brindled cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harpier cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Told that under cold stone days and nights has 31 sweltered venom. Sleeping god, boil thou first i' the charmed pot. Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble. Double
toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf of the round salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged i' the dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gone of gold, and slips of yew slivered in the moon's eclipse, nose of duck and tartar's lips, finger of birth strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger's chaudron for the ingredients of our cauldron.
So you notice all the ingredients, rather interesting mix of things. If you really want to take some time, go through and check all of the ingredients. You'll notice they all have some element of uncleanness or evilness associated with them, especially the ones with the H's next to them. They have some special history. So take a look at those before you move on.
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done. I commend your pains, and everyone shall share the gains. And now about the cauldron sing like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is't you do?
A deed.
Without a name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's germen tumble altogether, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
We'll answer.
Say, if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths, or from our masters.
Call them, let me see 'em.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow. Grease that sweaten from the murderer's gibbet throw into the flame.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly.
All right, so Macbeth is about to see a series of visions, and with each vision there is some sort of meaning associated with it. The way the animation is done, you may think that it's referring to certain people, but don't read too much into that. They sort of just did their best. So just because a head or a baby or a person looks like someone doesn't mean they are that person. But with each of these people, Macbeth is given a warning for his future. And you remember in Act 3, Hecate said that they would be telling Macbeth things to make him feel secure, which in turn would undo him. So let's get started.
Sure.
Tell me, thou unknown power,
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macduff. Beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough.
whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man. For none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate, thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care, who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest? Bid the tree unfix his earthbound root. Sweet bodements! Good! Rebellious dead, rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied! Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Why sinks that cauldron? And what noise is this?
Show his eyes.
And grieve his heart.
Come like shadows.
So depart.
Fly! Ah! Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown doth sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags! Why do you show me this? A fourth! Start eyes! What will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet. A 7th. I'll see no more. And yet the 8th appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more. And some I see that 2-fold balls and treble sceptres carry. Ah! Oh, horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true. For the blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his.
right, so two quick notes here. Number one, if you take a look at Macbeth's monologue, you'll notice just how difficult it would be to understand this if you didn't see the show. He is yelling at ghosts that are appearing while he is speaking. If you didn't know what was happening, to read this on your own would be very confusing. Number two, hopefully you were able to read some of those comments at the bottom, but just remember that King James I, who Shakespeare is working for at this point, is a descendant of a man named Banquo. So the idea that Banquo's line will stretch out in England and Scotland is important, because King James would have seen this and chuckled to himself knowing that he was the king. All right, so let's continue with scene 1.
What is this, sir?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say our duties did his welcome pay.
Where are they? Gone. Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in, without there.
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was't came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook, unless the deed go with it. From this moment the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand, and even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
So Banquo was really the tipping point. At this point, Macbeth is willing to kill Macduff, his family, everybody in his castle, just because of a prediction that the witches told him. So Macbeth now has a couple things in his head. He knows that the sons of Banquo will still become kings. However, he also knows that he is pretty secure. Only Macduff can kill him. Only someone who is not born of a woman, aka no one, will be able to kill him. And he will not be killed until the forest attacks his castle. I like those odds. But we'll see what happens. Let's move on to scene 2. Alright, so scene 2 is quite different than most of the scenes. Ross, one of the servants, is really only the character that we've seen before. Everybody else is new. At this point, we are at the Macduff castle. Remember in the last scene, Macbeth said that he was going to attack it as soon as possible. So let's get started.
What have ye done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
So Macduff has left his wife and children and fled the country. Perhaps this was smart for him, but doesn't really go over well with his wife. I think you can understand that.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further. But cruel are the times when we are traitors, and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumour from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea, each way and none. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sinner. Your father's dead. And what will you do now, eh? How will you live?
As birds do, Mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'lt never fear the net, nor lime, the pitfall, nor the gin.
Why should I, Mother? Poor birds, they are not set for. My father is not dead, for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy 'em to sell again.
Thou speakst with all thy wit, and yet he faith with wit enough for thee.
This is an interesting exchange. The mother and her son are going back and forth discussing how each of them will do without a husband and without a father. It's really sort of some comic relief. This has nothing to do with the plot. It's really just some wordplay, probably designed to get the actors backstage time in order to get in position. In fact, this whole scene is likely designed to give people time to set up for the coming scenes. Let's continue.
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Every one that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now, God help thee, poor monkey, but how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkst.
Bless you, fair dame, I am not to you known, though in your state of honour I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here, hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you a fell cruelty which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Oh! Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. Oh, but I remember now, I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defence to say, I have done no harm? Oh, what are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor?
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain!
What? You egg. Young fry of treachery.
He has killed me. Mother, run away. I pray you. Mother!
Probably one of the darkest scenes in the play. It's one thing to kill the king off stage. It's another thing to attack Banquo in the forest. But here we have a wife and a son killed in their own home by murderers. You really see the progression of things. And we see these common themes. The idea of being a traitor, of being deceptive, all comes into play. So that's scene 2. Let's move on then to scene 3, the last scene in Act 4. And now we're on to Act 4, Scene 3, which is hands down the worst scene in the entire play. Well, for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's very long. Look, there's 15 pages. Most of them only had 6 or 7, maybe 8. 15 pages. Number 2, there's only 2 people involved in this scene. There's Malcolm, the son of Duncan, the guy who should have been king, and Macduff, the one who Macbeth is supposed to watch out for, the one Macbeth just killed in his castle. So, what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about what's happened in the play so far. They're talking about their plans to get rid of Macbeth. In fact, if you take a look on the screen over here, there is a synopsis. I'm going to get out of the way for a second. I want to encourage you, if you want to read this, please pause and read it. And then when you're done, press play and watch the scene. Don't just read the synopsis. Let me stop for a second. So pause. Okay. Let's continue then with Act 4, Scene 3. Remember, Macbeth is the main guy. Macduff, the one with the goatee, is the one you're supposed to watch out for. And Malcolm is the man who would be king. Let's get started.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dolour.
What I believe, I'll wail. What know, believe. And what I can redress, as I shall find the time to, friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongues was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may discern of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that Rhodos left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking? I pray you let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basest shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou think'st for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich East to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
All right, so far nothing really has happened. The two have tried to figure out if Macbeth really is evil or if they can trust each other. At this point, though, Malcolm is about to test Macduff. Malcolm is about to say how he would be a terrible king of England. So pay attention. How is Malcolm saying he would be a terrible king, and why is he doing this? Why is he tricking Macduff into thinking he would be a terrible king? Let's see what happens.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice, so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desire all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. And better Macbeth than such an one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice, that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer-seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee oft ne'er upon her knees than on her feet died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeat'st upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. O my breast, thy hope ends here.
So you see what's happened here. Malcolm pretends that he is lustful, that he is greedy, that he has no good qualities, and finally Macduff has had enough and he freaks out and says, "You are not fit to be king, you are not fit to live." But remember, Malcolm is pretending. Let's see what he says.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honour. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself, for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old Seward with 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile.
All right, so two things. Number one, it is obvious now that Malcolm was testing Macduff to see if Macduff wanted Scotland to survive or if Macduff just hated Macbeth. Macduff has passed the test, and Malcolm now tells him his true characteristics. Also, notice this last line. Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile. This plays back to the entire theme of the play, the idea of duality, of two things happening at once. Macbeth hearing good news and yet it being bad news. Macbeth feeling secure and being not secure. And here we have Macduff hearing bad news followed by good news. Let's continue then with the rest of the scene.
Well, more anon. Comes the king forth, I pray you?
Aye, sir. There are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great assay of art, but at his touch, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand, they presently amend.
I thank you, doctor.
What's the disease he means?
'Tis called the evil. A most miraculous work in this good king, which often, since my here remain in England, I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven himself best knows, but strangely visited people, all swollen and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery, he cures. Hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers, and 'tis spoken to the succeeding royalty he leaves the healing benediction. With this strange virtue, he hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin. Welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God betimes remove the means that makes us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stands Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country. Almost afraid to know itself. Cannot be called our mother, but our grave. Where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile. Where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked. Where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead men's knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a niggard of your speech, how goest?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good Seward and 10,000 men, an older and a better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause? Or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
Oh, I guess at it.
So you'll notice it's taking a long time for Ross to tell Macduff what has happened. Why? Well, I suppose it makes it more dramatic, but even in real life, if you have that bad of news, likely Ross would not want to tell Macduff this, so he's dragging it out, hoping that Macduff will guess it on his own.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner whereon the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What, man? Ne'er pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children, too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence? My wife killed too?
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, hell-kite. All? What? All my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine, fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
If you didn't get a chance, go back and check those notes on the side. Listen to the speech once, but take a look at the theme and some of the questions. They really give you some good insight.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue. But, gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him, and if he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go ye to the king. Our power is ready, our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
So you really notice a change in this big scene with Malcolm and Macduff. At the beginning, they're trying to see if they even trust each other. Malcolm is testing Macduff. But then all of a sudden, the news that Macbeth has killed Macduff's family has really spurred them both on. They now have their allies with Seward and the other people in England, and they are preparing to make a move. So that's the end of Act 4. The stage is set. We've just finished the falling action, and now in Act 5 we'll have the great conclusion. If you didn't get a chance to read all the notes on the side, I encourage you to rewind, maybe just watch it on mute for a change, and just read the notes as they come up. They do offer some great insight. A lot of times I don't speak up myself because the notes do such a great job. But thanks for stopping by. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and click Act 5 and finish the play. See ya.